So far, so good on this current 9-game roadie. The East Coast was kind to the Athletics as they took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees and the Orioles. The Green and Gold boast the best record in the majors at 22-12 as they continue to roll away from home. But they haven't made it home just yet. Last stop, Southern California to take on their division rival Angels. Last weekend, the Angels came to Oakland only to get swept in front of the rowdy Coliseum faithful. The Angels will be looking to return the favor at the Big A. Game 1 of 3, A's Angels next. Well, the final stop of the road trip is Angel Stadium of Anaheim. So Southern California on a beautiful night for baseball. It's the A's and it's the Angels, the first of 3. And entering tonight's action, the Athletics with a 4.5-game lead over the Angels. So we think that makes this a big series. And Jesse Chavez is going to get the ball in Game 1. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. When you have the best record in the American League, well, I think you should have a handful of all-stars. It looks like Donaldson's probably going to make it, and we're hoping that Brandon Moss makes it as well, Ray. I think he certainly has the numbers. If you look at his numbers, definitely, and the way he is swinging and hitting the long ball has been outstanding. On this road trip alone, what he did in New York, how about this bomb to right center field? He actually hit 2 in one game, including the game winner off Warren, a second-deck line drive shot. Nothing matched, though, what he did yesterday against Ubaldo Jimenez. This man is so strong. Took a first pitch, split-finger fastball, straightaway center field after it was just a pretty good swing by John Jaso. Was not the grand slam. This one was. And by the way, against Garrett Richards a week ago Friday at the Coliseum, Brandon Moss hit his first grand slam. So that's as well as he has done. Nobody better. Josh Hamilton is back for the Angels. He missed 48 games with that thumb injury, and boy, he looks good, Ray, and this is becoming a dangerous Angels lineup. Well, it's very well balanced now, especially with Hamilton back in the lineup, and of course, Mike Trout is also back, but Hamilton was swinging the bat very well at the beginning of the season, which was very positive for the Angels. Then he went on the disabled list, but he has come back just as strongly, and you're right, it makes a very balanced lineup for the Angels, hitting in the middle part of the lineup, and he does such a great job. He's still a very aggressive hitter, and if you make a mistake, he'll take advantage of it, which he's done so far. Yeah, and they're telling us he is showing some more patience this year, so we'll see if that is the case with Hamilton. Jesse Chavez and Garrett Richards is your pitching matchup in Game 1 of this 3-game series from Anaheim. We're looking forward to it. Always great when these two teams square off. We'll have lineups and first pitch from the Big A in just a moment.
Baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box and try the new Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. It's Jack's hottest sandwich yet. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, there's your starting pitcher tonight for the Angels, Garrett Richards, and I got a feeling he's looking forward to facing the A's after the A's knocked him around big time a couple starts ago. Here's the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. Beautiful night, 70 degrees in Anaheim. Just a light breeze, and this should be a fun three-game series between two very good teams who, at the moment, are playing very good baseball. And Angels chasing the Athletics. A's with a 4.5 game lead in the AL West. Let's look at the lineup tonight for the Athletics. It starts with Coco Crisp in center field. John Jaso will DH tonight, and then Donaldson, Moss, Cespedes, big guys in the heart of the order. Lowry, Vogt, Callaspo, and Sogard round out the A's lineup for tonight.
And it will be Garrett Richards' couple of starts against the A's this year, back here in April, and no decision when the A's won 10-9. But the big one, of course, a week ago Friday at the Coliseum, did not get out of the first inning, just 2/3 of an inning pitch. But in his next start against the Astros, 8 innings of good, solid baseball. So I agree with Kite. I think he's kind of an vengeance tonight. But it was Chris Iannetta, his catcher. Maybe he can look at Hank Conger as his catcher tonight, being the biggest difference in this game versus what happened at the Coliseum Friday. That was the opener of the series, as this one is. And, of course, a big one, even though it is the early part of June.
Defense for the Angels. Hamilton in left, Trout in center, Calhoun in right, Freese, Ibar, Kendrick, Pujols around the infield with Hank Conger doing the catching. So Hamilton back in the lineup. The Angels are thrilled with that. And from our reports he looks like the hitter he was a couple of years ago. Tough year last year, his first year with the Angels. But we shall see in this series. So Coco's ready, so is Garrett Richards, and the first of this three-game series is about set to get going.
And both clubs wearing their alternate jerseys. The red for the Angels and the green for the Athletics. And they don't look similar, so that's why they're both able to wear them.
Coco hitting .274 with 4 home runs, 17 RBIs, and sitting on an 11-game hitting streak, so he's got his average headed in the right direction. And it was down in the 240s for a while. A's with a 39-24 record, and they have won 7 out of 9, wrapping up this 9-game road trip. So the 2-0 pitch to Coco is low, and now it's 3-0.
That's 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got a good one. It's just a matter of controlling it. It's the A's back on April the 15th. 7 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs earned. And they're the last 2. Houston, 8 innings, no runs, 5 runs in 2/3 of an inning against the Athletics.
And a strike that probably didn't have to be. Coco is about ready to head to first.
But I don't like to see umpires help a pitcher when they're struggling by giving them a questionable strike. And Milwaukee, the home plate umpire, gave him the strike.
Bob Davidson, John Tumpain, and James Hoy, the rest of the umpiring crew tonight. That one in for a strike, and now it's 3-2. Jay Sotofalo and then Donaldson here in the first inning. Just underway from the Big A. Outfield straightaway, infield straightaway. So a hitter with no shift. Don't see that a lot anymore. That one chopped high and foul right toward the A's dugout.
That is a little strange, isn't it, to see everybody in their normal position?
It is very odd.
And we saw, let's see, just recently that when Coco was hitting 2 strikes, the third baseman went to right field, opening up the entire left side of the infield, which is surprising. But Mike Scioscia, longest tenured manager in the American League.
Coco rolls that one foul, scooped up by Ty Waller on the back pedal.
That was a questionable pitch, whether it was a strike or not, but too close to take. One thing about both pitchers tonight, although Garrett Richards taking a little time now with a foul ball, but both pitchers stand on top of the mound. As soon as the pitch is made, they're right back and ready to go. We know that with Jesse Chavez, and we're seeing it with Garrett Richards.
Another 3-2 pitch to Coco Crisp is driven to left center. Trout on the move, and Trout's going to get there, and he's got it. That's the first out of the ball game.
Time now for the Nissan keys to the game for the A's and Angels. Always a tough fight. Low-scoring games, or at least decisions by just a few runs. And, of course, wait out Richards. It worked both times, especially with the walks. And who knows what might have happened if a 3-0 pitch had been called a ball, but it was not. And Richards, big sigh of relief, and a 3-2 count. And 8 pitches gets Coco to line out to center field.
So up steps Jaso, hitting .294 with 6 home runs and 19 RBIs. Slices one foul. Jaso was 3 for 10 in that series against the Orioles. A couple of doubles, 4 RBIs. Almost had a grand slam. A's with a 22-12 record on the road. They're 17-12 at home, and done a good job in the division so far. They're 18-11 against the West.
And that's the surprising thing about the Angels, that they are not playing that great within the division.
Scooped up, and Jaso is retired. So as the A's wrap up this 9-game road trip, they have the best road record in the American League, best ERA on the road in the American League. So none of this should surprise you. Most runs scored on the road. And 4-2 on this trip, with 2 out of 3 in New York, 2 out of 3 in Baltimore. So here's Donaldson. Swings at the first pitch and bounces it toward David Freese, who flips it across, side retired. So an 11-pitch first inning for Garrett Richards, and the A's go quietly. Bottom of the first coming up. Let's look at their lineup. It starts with Cole Calhoun, who's missed some time on the disabled list. He's back. And then it's Trout, Pujols, Hamilton, Freese, Kendrick, Ibar, Ibanez, and Conger.
And the Southern California native on the mound, Jesse Chavez, of course, staying at home for this trip down here in Anaheim, and on the mound in the first game of the series. Faced the Angels back on April the 12th, went 7 innings as the A's won the game. It was the home run by Jaso on the pinch hit. Struck out a season-high tying 9 batters in that game. It followed 9 strikeouts against the Twins in the prior start.
Defense behind Jesse Chavez has Cespedes, Crisp, and Moss. In the outfield, Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, Cayaspo in the infield. And Stephen Vogt is behind the plate tonight. So Cole Calhoun, the right fielder, steps in. And first pitch to Calhoun is on the outside corner for a strike. 231 with 4 home runs for the speedy Calhoun. Remember, he was injured against the A's right here in this ballpark. It was on April 15th. And sprained his ankle, stepping on first base. And he was like, yeah, you know, it looks like maybe out for a little while. We missed 31 games. Yeah. Just came back.
Well, and coming back has kind of complicated things, as has Josh Hamilton, because Colin Cowgill's played very well for the Angels, so kind of a platoon now. Hamilton's going to play left. Of course, Mike Trout in center, so it's a platoon pretty much in the outfield now with Calhoun and Cowgill. Colin Cowgill has done a tremendous job.
Yes, he has.
Mike Scioscia talks about both Cowgill and Calhoun, saying he wants to keep both of them sharp, and doesn't necessarily mean it would be a full to the point of you're going to play against everybody, but it's not going to be a platoon all the way.
Trout to follow, Pujols, and see Hamilton waiting. He's hitting in the cleanup spot. That one hit hard, but right at Sogard. He scoops it up. Calhoun is out.
Jesse Chavez in April gave up a home run to Albert Pujols, but otherwise that was about it. Pitched a very good game. Changed speeds, good cut fastball, front door cutter. He had the curveball working, and a good two-seam fastball down and away. He struck out 9 of these Angels hitters, who are very good hitters, and buckled the knees of Howie Kendrick, and up and in fastball. Just a very good job of Jesse Chavez. The biggest concern, Kat, that was the 3rd game of the season, his 3rd start. Now he's making his 13th start. There's always some question about his endurance. He feels good about it. Does not think it's going to be a problem. But time will tell in the rotation for the first time.
So he faces Trout. Trout fouls it straight back. Chavez with the 8th best ERA in the American League at 3.04. Trout, a line shot to left. Cespedes to his right quickly, and he makes the catch. A line drive, but Cespedes hauls it in, hustles it in underhanded. See, that's the first time he's thrown underhand on the run.
That's a good note. That's a good note. I have to put a notation by that one.
Usually he's standing still. Watch this, on the run.
That's an honor, as Prieto said, of his mother. That was good insight when we interviewed him at the Coliseum a week ago Saturday, after he had that huge game against these Angels. But he got a great jump, and then a little slip. Yeah, thought that was going to be hooked down the line. Instead, it was an out.
Cayaspo can't get it, and with the shift on, Pujols just rolls one through the right side, and it'll be a hit for Pujols. So one of the occasions where the shift does not work. Cayaspo tried to range all the way over there, and you look where he's playing already. So a 2-out hit, and that'll bring up Hamilton.
Yeah, I think there's a reason Albert Pujols usually hits 300, and taking advantage of opportunities like that. Did hit a home run that first series, as we mentioned. Jesse talking about the cut fastball that Pujols hit against him and hitting the home run. He said he took the cut out of it by his positioning at home plate, something that Chavez noticed.
Hamilton fouls it back. 1-1 the count. So 2nd year in an Angels uniform for Hamilton. And he did start to play a little bit better last couple months of last year. And he lines one to center, and that's going to be a hit. So Pujols will stop at second base. So Hamilton's been hot, and he singles to center. Hamilton with the hit. His numbers with the Rangers, which is in red, with the Angels is in gray. So the slugging percentage down, at bats per home run up, which obviously means he's hitting fewer home runs. But he just did not look comfortable last year. But everybody said so far this year, even though he's missed a lot of time, when he has played, he's looked much, much better.
And he should be able to stay strong the rest of the season, as the Angels tonight play in their 63rd game.
0-1 to David Freese. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to David Freese.
Well, you have to be careful with a team that, of course, the Angels, going back to Saturday night, a very important game for them, coming from behind to beat the White Sox and Chris Sale. They scored their 6th of their 6 runs in the 8th inning with 2 outs after the grand slam by Mike Trout. Put 3 consecutive hits together to win.
Angels as a team are 3rd in the American League in runs scored. Top 3 teams are the A's, the Jays, and the Angels. That's top 3 in total runs scored. The Blue Jays or the White Sox are 4th. So you're seeing 2 of the better offenses in the American League in this series.
Well, they have a very good lineup, and it's just a matter of when that lineup's going to start playing together. And even with David Freese, remember, he was struggling at the beginning of the season. He went on the disabled list. He has come back swinging the bat much better, kind of joining the rest of the group.
And he swings and misses there, so Jesse Chavez gets a strikeout, and the Angels strand a pair. So no score after 1.
A's baseball during every Patelco Credit Union Throwback Thursday game this season. 5,000 fans get a commemorative button, a scorecard, and throwback prizes on Plaza level tickets presented by Patelco Credit Union. How about this? This Thursday, 5,000 fans will get a limited edition Rube Waddell. How about that, JR? Rube Waddell button. For more information and tickets, go to athletics.com/Thursday. You remember Rube Waddell, don't you? That's right. JR knows all of it. That'd be a great Thursday.
So Moss to lead it off, and the first pitch is a strike down around the knees. Moss with 16 home runs and 53 runs batted in. He's 5th in the league in home runs, and he's 2nd in RBIs. How about that?
He had 2 home runs, 2 grand slams actually, one off Richards, but the one yesterday, first pitch, split finger fastball. As Ubaldo Jimenez was very wild, tried to throw a split finger fastball first pitch, tried to get a ground ball. He didn't. He got a grand slam. End of his day. But Brandon Moss, a very disciplined, aggressive power hitter. If you can match all that, put all that together, that makes you a pretty good hitter.
Swings and misses, 2-2. Nelson Cruz continues to lead the American League in RBIs with 55.
It's a 2-0 fastball at the Coliseum, and that was after Richards loaded the bases in the first inning. A shot. He had walked the previous batter, Donaldson, on 4 pitches. And then 2-0 to Moss, and he crushed it.
And a fastball at 97 miles an hour, and Moss strikes out.
Curved down and in on a 2-1 pitch that he missed, and then went upstairs with a fastball, and it was kind of a half swing by Brandon Moss.
Well, interesting note on Garrett Richards, Ray. You may have seen it. His average fastball velocity this year is 95.9 miles per hour. That's 2nd best in the majors. So what it means is he's got a good fastball.
What it means, it might make him a pretty good closer to throw that hard.
Yeah. And he's got a good curveball.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's got an assortment of pitches, and
no problem there with a 96 mile an hour fastball as Cespedes hits it into the left field corner, and he's got a 1-out double.
Well, there's proof right there. You can throw it hard, but if it's straight, you don't hit with good location. That can happen. And Cespedes, a double down the left field line, could very easily have been a home run with the ball into the seats towards the end of the bat a little bit. Top spin, took it down on the corner, and with the speed of Cespedes, an easy double for him.
So A's have a runner in scoring position here in the 2nd inning as Lowry steps in. Lowry is in a slump. He's 0 for his last 13. So he has seen his batting average slip to 235. But the slump has to end soon, and it'll be followed by a hot streak. Last year, Lowry hit 290 in 154 games. So we mentioned the fastball from Garrett Richards, that he is 2nd. The best average fastball miles per hour wise is Ventura, the young rookie from the Kansas City Royals, who we did not see him last year, I don't believe. Maybe spring training.
Yeah, we've
he throws very hard, obviously. Lowry tries to hold up, he can't do it. So the count 1-2.
Assuming all things go health-wise, it's a 4-game series in Kansas City, so a pretty good chance.
80% chance.
There's the hard curve again in a 1-1 count. So Richards, with his catcher Hank Conger, using the off-speed pitch in fastball counts, and maybe that's because the fastball is straight, and Cespedes showed what happens with a straight fastball. Conger, along with Chris Iannetta, kind of a platoon catching situation with the Angels.
1-2 pitch is popped up on the infield where the shortstop Ibar is under it, and Ibar grabs it. So Lowry is retired, and it'll be up to Stephen Vogt. Stephen Vogt walking up to the plate like he means business.
Like he's going to get a hit to drive in the run. That's right.
I can't wait to get in there.
Both he and Jaso were a little bit bummed out tonight because only 2 catchers in the lineup.
Yeah.
Derek Norris took the bat off the helmet, had to leave the game.
So they weren't the only ones bummed out.
Yeah. He's okay, though. He said it was just one of those woozy days, and getting hit in the helmet and the head kind of complicated it.
So 1-0 to Vogt, 263 with a couple of RBIs. Norris says he's okay, and that's the good news. This was Norris getting hit yesterday.
Well, this is the second time in the game, the follow through, and this one, as Machado follow through, hit him on top of the helmet and had to come out of the game. They did concussion test, everything was okay, and Stephen Vogt had to come in and finish up the game.
Shallow left field, and that's going to drop. And Cespedes comes in to score.
Nice going, partner.
That's right.
That's right. You said Stephen Vogt knew. He walked up there like he was going to get a hit.
He did. He was walking
You're
up
good,
there.
man.
He
You're
got
good.
business. He was smelling an RBI, and he got it. So Vogt drops one into left field.
Well, that was a bullet, too.
That's right.
Into the bat.
A 1-0 lead.
Into the bat and shallow left field, and that's perfect with 2 outs. Cespedes on the move, on contact. Hamilton charging, no chance to get the ball or to throw out Cespedes. So the A's with a big 2-out hit, strike early.
So here's Callaspo, former Angel. Callaspo takes a pitch a bit outside.
Remember last Sunday when he had a good game, a week ago Sunday, against Jared Weaver, his former teammate. Hit the ball well, and I asked him, you know, did you have an idea? And he said, no, I just looked at the ball and hit it. So even if you play behind the guy and you get kind of a pattern of what he does in certain situations, it doesn't mean you're paying that much attention. You probably say, I'm never going to hit against him.
More action for Hamilton. He's going to grab this one on the run. Side retired. A run on 2 hits for the A's is Vogt with a 2-out RBI single. Bottom of the second coming up. 1-0 A's. This was the quote in the newspaper this morning from Ernesto Frieri, who is the closer for the Angels. We're going to beat them. Get ready to write that. I hate to say this, but they've had a little bit of extra luck. If you pay attention every play, it's stupid how the game goes their way. And that's Frieri, obviously talking about the Oakland A's. So there's his thoughts on that. I'm sure Mike Scioscia was thrilled to read that.
And as we talked a lot of times, players don't read the papers, managers don't read the papers, but they find out about it because somebody will say, oh, did you see that? And then curiosity will take over and they'll find it. But no, managers don't like that. They just want to play the game and don't take any chance of somebody getting fired up, which I don't think the A's would anyway. They know it's a good series, tough series for them. They're just going to continue to play their brand of baseball. And there's no luck in baseball. I mean, it's
no.
There may
not 162 games.
No.
There may be something to playing well at the right time come postseason.
Yeah. Well, that's the key. You want to be hot then. Yeah. But it's not really something you want to write with 99 games to go in the season, or at least have somebody write it.
Kendrick fouls it back. So the count 2-2. Kendrick, Ibar, and Ibanez. Coming in the second. Season series has gone the A's way. They have won 5 of the 6 games played. See the total runs scored, the difference in ERA. And the 3-game sweep in Oakland on the last homestand. The A's outscored the Angels 26-11. Weaver took a loss in one of those games. The A's will not see Weaver in this series. Another foul ball. This one just to our right. And a fan sitting in the first row. Second level with his glove on. Stood up and made a nice catch. So, we get a good catch on our level. And swing and a miss on a high fastball. So Jesse Chavez has a couple of strikeouts.
Well, the same as he did to David Freese in the first inning. And tempted with a curveball, been challenged with a fastball up and in. And Tyler Kendrick, one of the best opposite field hitters. We always talk about that, but that fastball, he could not catch up to it. Surprising that this young man, as hot as he is hitting where he is. But
well, he's become an RBI guy.
Yeah, and maybe Mike Soji. He's 35 runs batted in. And Trot has 43, Pujols 35, and then it's Ibar.
And that may be the exact reason.
He had the game winner Saturday night with a 2-out hit up the middle.
I said the A's will not see Weaver in the series, which is incorrect. We'll see him on Wednesday.
It's Tyler Skaggs who went on the disabled list. They will not see him tomorrow night.
That's right. Just announced that.
It's going to be Santiago taking his spot. Skaggs, one of the starters in Oakland. Matter of fact, Skaggs had an early 3-0 lead on the Saturday night, and that's when the A's had 11 unanswered runs after the 3-0 lead.
And Santiago is the young man who pitched here against Jesse Chavez.
Exactly.
And pitched pretty well that night, but really did not have a lot of success, and they sent him to the minor leagues. He's one of the guys they got off-season trade. So it'll be Santiago tomorrow night. Hector Santiago pitching for the Angels. Good ball strike ratio so far for Jesse Chavez, as he faces Raul Ibanez, pitches inside.
Don't look at Raul Ibanez 143. You're always concerned about that 3 in the home run spot. He's driven in 20, but a veteran player, and he loads up, cheats a little bit like that.
And he just got out in front. Moss waits for it to come down. He's got it inside, retired. So we're through 2 from the Big A in Anaheim. It's the A's 1 and the Angels nothing. Sportsnet California is brought to you by Evergood Sausage Company. Get grilling. Let's go look at the Big A. And if you just look beyond that, see our hotel.
That's right.
One of those taller
What's that
buildings,
round
right?
thing below, though?
That's where the hockey team plays, the Ducks.
But not the Kings, huh?
No.
The pond. You can, yeah. One time you couldn't see the pond because of that structure in center field, but when the Rams departed, they imploded the center field structure and put the rock pile in center field.
Well, you may hear a little roar here at some point because, of course, the LA Kings in the Stanley Cup Finals, and they're winning Game 3, and it's getting down to the end. So they're up 2-0 in the series and winning Game 3.
And where is that being played?
Well, they're in New York now.
Oh, okay.
Madison Square Garden. 0-2 to Eric Sogard. He'll be followed by Crispin Jaso here in the top of the third. Stephen Vogt with a 2-out RBI single in the second inning for the only run so far in the game. Sogard hitting right at 200 with 7 RBIs.
One thing Hank Conger, the catcher for the Angels, is doing, every time he gives a sign, he's almost putting his glove on the ground. The catcher's mitt trying to get his pitcher to pitch down in the zone, not elevate. Well, he's staying down pretty consistently.
A little different than the last time the A's saw him. Garrett Richards, a very high draft pick for the Angels, a 42nd pick in the 2009 draft from the University of Oklahoma. One and 2 to Sogard, and that one at the knee, strike 3 called. Second strikeout for Richards. Here's our forward right choice. Yesterday, Scott Kazmir got the big lead, and he just rolled along. He can pitch with a big lead, folks. 7 innings, 4 hits, struck out 70 through 96 pitches. And his ERA is now at 2.20. That's the third best in the American League. He's allowed just 3 runs in his last 22 innings. So Scott Kazmir continues to pitch great. And he's rolling along with a 7-2 record. So in our open rate, we talked about Brandon Moss as a possible all-star candidate. Certainly he has the numbers, as does Donaldson. Donaldson has a big lead in the voting, which is great. That's what we were all hoping for. But Scott Kazmir has a very good chance to be an all-star. Sonny Gray has a chance to be an all-star.
Well, this is June 9th, so another month of baseball before the actual all-star game takes place. So a lot of starts remaining for Scott Kazmir and any of the starting pitchers. But I talked to him, interviewed him on the radio side, and I asked him about pitching with a lead, and thought it was rather interesting in his comments about how he goes back out on the mound and, of course, utilizes all his pitches. But he said there are times he thinks that guys who have big run support, big lead, when they go out, they just throw fastballs. He said what he tries to do is throw quality strikes with his fastball. He said he doesn't throw to the middle of the plate. He throws the corners, mixes his pitches. But if he does throw his fastball, it's going to be one that is going to be not so much down the middle of the plate, just trying to get quick outs. He's going to make the quality pitches, and as a result, gives up no runs in the 7 innings of pitching.
1-2 pitch is blocked nicely by Conger. 2-2.
We saw him yesterday. Of course, that fastball in one of the replays showing with Chris Davis, fastball was in the catcher's mitt when he swung at it, so he was fooled. Thought the changeup that he threw to Markakis to strike him out, something that's different to a lefty. But he pitched the game just like he had a 1-run lead instead of the 10 runs that the A's gave him.
Two pitch to Crisp. Inside, 3-2. Well, Sonny Gray is 6-2 with a 2.83 ERA. So you look at his numbers and Kazmir's numbers, and I don't think there's any question that those two are all-star candidates. But you're right, there is quite a bit of time yet for them or other guys to rack up some wins.
One of the past couple of years been closers, but the A's number of saves are down, and a lot of that because the differential in the runs that the A's have been scoring and what the pitcher's been giving up. But so it may be the year of the position player, at least in the case of Donaldson making the club being voted in, but then also starting pitchers versus maybe relievers, unless they would go with a setup reliever.
Three and two. And Coco hits it toward Pujols, who scoops it up. He'll take it himself. And that's out number 2. We got updated All-Star voting. This is through yesterday. And you see Josh Donaldson leading at third base, which is great news. And, well, you look right there, Ray, and outside of Wieters, who's injured, you really cannot argue with a whole lot of that. I mean, Melky Cabrera's having a really good season. Trout's a perennial all-star. Batista, same. And the guys, Cabrera, Cano, Jeter, well, those guys, their names speak for themselves. But it's great to see Donaldson's name on there. And he has a fairly significant lead in the voting. And
you saw Derek Jeter's name in there, shortstop. That's a favorite. Of course, not surprising. Deservedly. Should be there anyway since it's his last year. But you know, Edwin Encarnacion's going to be there. He had another one tonight.
Yep. And you know what ends up happening? We've seen this enough now, Ray, is you wish for, in this case, 4, and you probably will get 3.
Yeah.
And I mean, the A's deserve to get, last year they had 2. They went a long time getting just 1, but I think this year with what they've done last couple years and now have the best record in the American League, I think they deserve 3 or 4 guys.
Well, they're definitely being noticed more,
yes,
which is a big plus, especially for the votes for Josh Donaldson.
Wouldn't you say that you noticed that when we were on the East Coast?
Yeah, exactly.
More so than even the last couple of years. People just seem a little more interested in what the A's are doing. We're not saying that East Coast people are becoming A's fans. I think there's just more curiosity and interest in about how good they are. There's really no more questions of, are they really that good? I think people now realize that they are.
Early defense of the people back east. Right now, this game, if you're watching, it's 11:15 back on the East Coast. 3-hour time change. So you're not going to get a lot of people watching the West Coast teams. And even a lot of the highlights would come late or tomorrow.
Donaldson, 3rd in home runs, 4th in RBIs, 1st in runs, and 1st in fan voting. So you got to keep it up, though, A's fans, so nobody sneaks in there at the end. A nice big homestand coming up. That'll help. Oh, and that hit Jaso in the back foot, I believe, on a 3-2 pitch.
A 3-2 curveball, and just kept running in and did get in the back foot after he took one off his forearm. The way it ended up after getting hit, I think he could take one off the foot. Check the back foot, the left foot. It came back, lifted up, maybe just right on the sole of the foot, which would be good if there's anything good about getting hit.
He lifted it up, and he lifted it up right into the ball, which you don't see very often. So that'll give Donaldson a chance to hit here in the 3rd inning. Donaldson bounced out to 3rd. He saw 1 pitch from Richards in the 1st inning.
Just talking to Clyde Wright, Skeeter, who works for the Angels and pitched a no-hitter for the Angels and was an all-star. He said he was pitching, and Bill Melton was playing for the White Sox. And he said, he told Fregosi, tell him I'm going to hit him. I don't like the way he's just crushing him. And Melton sent word back, says, you don't throw hard enough to hurt me, so go ahead. Well, he said he hit him, and he hit him kind of on the left side. And the next day, he dropped and lifted up his shirt, big black and blue. Says, no matter how hard you throw, if you hit somebody,
it's going to leave a mark.
That's right, it's going to get a mark. So, and you take somebody who's throwing 97, that's really going to leave a mark. Clyde Wright was more of a finesse-type pitcher, good pitcher. But he didn't throw hard, but hard enough to create a black and blue mark.
you probably just remember the guys that hit you and it hurt a lot.
That's right.
1-2 pitch to Donaldson, and that was up and in, and Donaldson goes down.
Well, this is head high, and a scary head high, and he's taking a little walk to gather himself as he's ready to hit, and it's scary.
So 2-1 now to Donaldson. Jaso, the runner at first. And the 2-1 breaking ball, and Donaldson had a huge swing and he missed it.
Well, not surprised he swung as hard as he did, because he did the same thing last Friday when Wei-Yin Chen threw 8 pitches up and into him. And this was a curveball that he swung hard but missed. So you throw one up near the head, you send the guy to the ground, you come back with a breaking ball. Not a bad pitch. Unless you want to throw it away from him, figured he's going to be swinging hard anyway.
2-2 pitch, and that one is hit high and foul. And Donaldson always swings hard, but it looks like he's swinging even harder.
Well, unfortunately, the balance that time, lifting the front leg, was another breaking ball, and he was so quick he got out in front and pulled it. But the slider breaking away when he lifts his left front foot as much as he does, sometimes that's one that just keeps moving away from him and you can't catch up to it. Fastball away.
Conger slides out there. And that one runs off the plate, 96 miles an hour. Full count, and Jason will take off. Pujols will play behind him.
52 pitches, and last 3 batters he's gone full 3-2. Ground out, hit batter on the curveball. Donaldson now 3-2, and you have to wonder if he's going to go to curveball again, something off speed and not challenged with a fastball.
So Jaso is ready to take off, and he does, and the pitch is hit to left field. Hamilton on the move, and Hamilton toward the line, and he's got it side retired. So a runner stranded for the A's. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. It'll be Conger, Calhoun, and Trout. 1-0 Athletics. In 2011, in the midst of a 9-game losing streak, the A's fire manager Bob Guerin and replaced him with that man, Bob Melvin. He will serve as the interim manager for the rest of the season, and, well, the rest is history. So that was it was an interesting 24 hours certainly for Bob Melvin, and it was interesting for everybody. He's done a sensational job, and we're glad he's an A. And as we always do, we wish Bob Guerin the best of luck. He's with the Mets coaching staff.
And we will get a chance to see him twice, actually, at the Coliseum and in New York.
And Conger gets hit on the first pitch, and that can hit him on the right elbow or hand area. And it sounded like a pretty solid hit, if there is such a thing.
Well, let's hope that people don't think this is intentional because Josh Donaldson, because this is a one-run game in an important series. So now the home plate umpire Bill Welke out talking to Chavez, and I hope we don't get a warning here.
Yeah, you would certainly hope not. I mean, Jaso was hit with a curveball.
Yeah. And Donaldson, the fastball up in the end. But again, you have to look at the importance of the series, the game. It's a one-run game. It's a leadoff hitter. You're not trying to hit a leadoff hitter to start perhaps a big inning, especially the ninth place hitter.
So the Angels have a leadoff hitter. And now the top of the order in Cole Calhoun. Calhoun bounced out to second. His first at bat. And that one's hit high and foul.
And you know what something like that can do, Kai? But unfortunately, maybe the Angels are thinking, well, here's a retaliation. This is going to get us pumped up and maybe try to do something more just because of what happened. But again, I think you also have to just realize that's not even a possibility of what Jesse would be thinking about in this inning, in this situation.
Well, speaking of all that, and the craziness that took place this weekend, Manny Machado did come out and apologize today. Apologize to the A's and his teammates. And
I was just shocked that so many media people were around Josh Donaldson and expecting him and wanted to know if he accepted the apology. And he said, I didn't do anything.
That one hit foul. Well, it was interesting, though. I mean, this yesterday got a little weird. This was late in the game. Fernando Abad said today, I was not throwing at him. I was trying to throw inside.
Right.
So,
and that's that part right there from Manny Machado. And he said he slipped out of his hand. And Stephen Vogt said that he did not know initially what had happened because he knew the pitch was by him, and then next thing he knew, the bat was down the left or the third base line. Fortunately, it was not at the pitcher.
1-2 pitch. Lifted to shallow left center, and that's a hit. And Conger never stopped running. Boy, he read it well, and he just kept coming, and now he's at third base. So very good base running by Hank Conger. So first and third, nobody out for Trout.
Well, with the ball in front of you, you should be able to take the extra base. Off the end of the bat, hit softly, and Conger's at first base. He knows the ball's going to drop, and no chance for anybody. Fortunately for Cespedes, he threw the ball to second. Not to say that Trout is a candidate to hit into a double play, but at least keep the double play in order.
So here's Trout. Jesse Chavez in a jam here in the third. Trout lined out to Cespedes in left field in the first inning. Holding the opposition to a 193 average with runners in scoring position. That one's driven to center. Coco's going back, still going back. He leaps, and he caught it. It's going to be good enough for a sacrifice fly as Calhoun hustles back to first. Congress scores. Terrific play by Coco Crisp. He leaped up, caught it, and then banged against the wall.
Well, there are times when it's good to play deep because you don't have as far to run, and Coco Crisp into right center did not have to go back that far. It was not going to go out, but he's able to get back to the warning track, jump up with the line drive, and he brought it down as he hit the wall, held on to the ball, and got it back in. So a long sac fly, sac line drive, but Mike Trout has hit two balls very hard tonight, both outs.
So he gets his 44th RBI, and here's Albert Pujols. So a 1-1 game. First pitch to Pujols is in for a strike.
Again, watch the flight of the ball, and Coco jumped up. He's still several feet from the wall itself, so as he jumped up in the snow cone, and that's good that he was able to bring it down into the pocket to hang on when he hit the wall.
2 now to Albert Pujols. Ray, I did want to finish that thought on Machado and Josh Donaldson's response to the apology, and I thought it was interesting. Donaldson was asked how the apology registered with him, and he said, quote, "It doesn't. Words are words." He said, the right field where Moss goes back, and Moss has it. He said, "It doesn't. Words are words." He said, "You've got to go prove something every day. It takes a long time to develop a strong reputation. It takes a very short time to ruin it."
Very well said.
So Donaldson, he was not happy with everything that happened, and I can sort of understand why. And I thought a lot about what happened over the weekend, Rain. And I think something that stuck with me was, so this whole tag thing, right? You know, Machado thought it was an aggressive tag, whatever. I don't think it was. But they threw at Donaldson after that. And that's really what got everything going.
That's right. I agree.
So I
agree.
don't understand the need to feel like you have to do that after a play like that at third.
And especially since it was probably more of an embarrassment of a guy who fell because he stumbled.
That's right.
And Josh Donaldson, all he did was try to tag it.
Yep.
And he made a good play with the runner coming to third base. Instead of throwing the ball across the diamond, he tagged him, and Machado tried to. Yeah. And now we'll just watch this. As Machado's approaching Donaldson, watch what he does. He does a spin move, spins out of the way right there. That's when he stumbled. When he tried to spin, and then he gets up and probably embarrassed that he fell. But why not just say?
So, but did that mean that the Orioles had to then retaliate? That's why I just didn't think it was necessary.
I agree.
And it led to what happened on Sunday.
Right.
And what ends up happening there is your own third baseman is now going to get suspended probably.
Well, throwing the bat, he should.
And I think it sounds like that decision's going to come down tomorrow. So I don't know.
Well, anytime you throw the bat, that's not good. And that's the one thing. That's one thing, even coming out here, all the Angels players and staff saying, what's going on? And throwing the bat was the key.
That was the top. So a run for the Angels, and we'll head to the fourth to tie that one.
Box office, purchase an A's ticket at regular price, show your Chevron personal credit card, and get a second ticket of equal value free. Limit of 2 free tickets per customer per game. Tickets are subject to availability and additional restrictions apply. Go to chevroncards.com to learn more and apply for the credit card. This offer is administered by Chevron USA Incorporated.
All right. Careful for foul balls. Like that little one right there.
Yeah.
Moss, Cespedes, and Lowry, top of the 4th inning, and it's a 1-1 game. Moss struck out on a high fastball his first at bat. Good breaking ball from Richards. The Mariners won today. They had that wraparound day game in St. Petersburg, and they beat the Rays 3-0.
It's back-to-back shutouts for the Mariners.
You know what, Ray? They have back-to-back shutouts, and they have 4 shutouts in their last 8 games. So the Mariners have now won 8 out of 9, and they're only 5 back of the A's. How about that? So they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves as they go home for an 8-game homestand. And the struggles continue for the Rays, and Rays announced today that they will go closer by committee. Grant Balfour, who just has not pitched well. His ERA is around 6, and he is out as the closer, and he is now part of the committee.
Which, you know, that doesn't sit well with him.
So Moss strikes out for the 2nd time. But I would say, I don't know that he's got an argument. That's
no, absolutely not. Well, the hard curveball, and you throw 97 as Richards does, and you drop the 12-6 curveball, that usually is the result. Brandon Moss, nothing to be faulted about that. It's a very tough pitch to try to hit. You would not think that Cespedes would see a first pitch fastball after what he did to the 97 or 95 that Richards threw him his last at bat, which is a double down the left field line. But he does.
Doubled and then scored on the vote hit. And another fastball, and that one right on the outside corner. So pretty good pitcher's pitch, and Milwaukee liked it, so it's 0-2. Maybe a little off the plate. There's that sharp breaking ball. Looked like Richards maybe threw that one even a little bit harder, trying to get Cespedes to chase it.
Well, and has to be careful because he has to make sure his catcher can block the ball when he throws it that hard and spikes it, and the ball was not able to be handled or blocked by Hank Conger.
And a breaking ball that hung up there.
Wanted it down and away, it stayed up, and Cespedes very quick with the swing, fouled it back, and it was a hard breaking ball that stayed in.
Richards, long look in. Now he's ready. 97 miles an hour, but inside. So you see the fastball. He's consistently 95, 96, 97.
But likes the curveball. Yep. And we figured that Cespedes with that, either this pitch or the next one, we'll see it.
And a fastball got Conger. And Bill Welke's going to give Conger a little time, as good umpires do.
That's the right shoulder, and Conger, that pad on his right shoulder, but watch where it hits. Bang. So anything, if anything, the padding helped him a little bit. But you know, even going back to yesterday, after a couple of follow through and the swings, what Welke did is what you normally do, and that's you know, walk out, let the catcher catch his breath a little bit, and sure, it hurts, but give him a little bit of extra time. That's just common courtesy.
Two pitches, bounce foul, and another fastball. So the count remains 2-2.
Whole bunch of happy kids there in front row, and a foul ball. They're probably going to get a souvenir. That young lad did.
Setting up outside, and there's the breaking ball, and it's going to drop into right center for a hit. Cespedes fights it off, and he's 2 for 2. Another curveball that almost looked like it backed up a little bit. Not where Richard wanted, obviously.
Well, it's amazing that really it's kind of a hanger, but it did back up, and it was not hit hard. Of course, if it had been hit hard, it might have been a home run. But after Hank Conger got hit on the right shoulder, maybe you ought to try to find out if it really hurts about stealing second. Cespedes has good enough speed to steal, and maybe he's having a nice conversation with Albert Pujols. As he gets to first base, he does not need Ariel Prieto to be an interpreter.
No, he's getting better.
Yeah.
A 1-0 to Lowry, who popped out to the shortstop in the second inning.
0-2 to Cespedes to start the at-bat. And it took 6 pitches for him to finally get the hit. So that many pitches thrown after starting 0-2. And the pitch count at 67 now. We're in the 4th inning with 1 out.
And 2-0.
And I think some of the guys talking about yesterday, Camp, with 11 walks they received, 7 of which scored. And several of the players just simply said, we're patient, we swing at strikes, and we make pitchers work. And you do that. In the case of Jimenez, he lasted short. 3rd inning, he was gone. But if you look at the pitches that pitchers throw, and they don't throw quality strikes, then the number starts to add up. And I think the best thing for any team, if you can get to the bullpen, say by the 6th inning, you're not getting the back end of the bullpen, and typically your best setup and closers.
2-0 to Lowry. And Lowry to left field. Hamilton is there. He's got it, and that's the second out. So the struggles continue for Lowry. So the A's offense, most runs scored in the majors, 328. Most walks in the majors. They also lead the American League in on-base percentage. 2nd in home runs hit. And that run differential, plus 128. That's right, 128.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
And we've talked about how the heck can you get such a run differential like that. Well, the A's, they never get blown out. And yesterday they won 11-1. It was their 6th win this year, Ray, by 10 or more runs.
How about that?
So think about that.
Yeah.
That's a plus 60 at least right there. Not scoring 10 runs, winning by 10 runs or more. And that's amazing. And that's in all of Major League Baseball. Look at the difference. And there's good teams on that list, but the A's have almost doubled where the Giants are, who are 2nd. It's an amazing stat.
Yeah.
So 1-2 now to Vogt. Heads up. He had that so under control.
You just had to play the carom, make sure it didn't come back and get him in the backside. Hitting off the bat rack. Well, the A's have hit 10 home runs, or 10 3-run home runs, and 4 grand slams. So that in itself is going to.
There you go.
It's going to help your total runs.
Cespedes inches off. Pujols off the bag a step. 1-2 pitch is in the dirt. 2-2.
Hank Conger will get his work in with blocking balls in the dirt. And then if something, a pitcher throws a good curveball, hard curveball, and throws it a lot, you are going to see a lot in the dirt. And really, it's important for the catcher to help his pitcher by blocking the balls, which Hank Conger does a very good job.
Missed outside, and now full count.
And that will be the 5th 3-2 count in this game. Not to mention what Moss did, seeing 5 pitches, and Cespedes seeing 8.
So Cespedes and his terrific speed will take off. There he goes, and the pitch is lined towards center, but Trout is right there. So Vogt hit it right on the button, but it goes into the glove of Trout. Side retired. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th inning. It's a 1-1 game.
Available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in True HD on over 400 devices. Visit athletics.com for details.
So it's a 1-1 game. It's the bottom of the 4th inning. Hamilton, Freese, and Kendrick against Jesse Chavez. Chavez has only thrown 43 pitches, and I say only because I'm thinking of in comparison to Garrett Richards, who is over 75. So 1-1 to Freese. And 1-2. 3 strikeouts for Jesse Chavez. He has not walked anybody. He did hit a batter, and it cost him. Because it was Conger, and Conger scored. Curve, and it stays a bit high. Not by much.
Well, with some umpires, that's a strike. To Bill Welke, it's not. At least not tonight.
That one just below us. 3 hits for each team. There has not been an error in the game. The 3-2 pitch is outside, and it's a leadoff walk to Freese. Freese had 4 walks yesterday. Angels win over the White Sox.
I saw Calhoun with his last at bat on a hit and run. Fouled the ball with Conger leading off after being hit by a pitch. And I'm surprised to see Mike Scioscia trying to put his base runners in motion throughout this game, throughout this series, actually.
Hendrick, check swing, bounces it foul. Hendrick struck out swinging. First at bat. And that one hit him. Just got a little jersey. Trying to get in on Hendrick. So a walk and a hit batter. And here comes Ibar.
You know what he's going to be doing. This ball just running in. That's called getting a bloused uniform. As Kendrick watched the uniform kind of blouse out as he moves back, and did not hit him, hit the uniform only. And if you're ever going to get hit, that's the way to do it. It just hits part of the uniform, which is part of the body.
So second hit batter for Jesse Chavez tonight.
This will be a sacrifice with one of the best bunters in the game. Be shocked if he doesn't.
Donaldson thinks so. He's way in. Ibar swinging away, and it's a strike. Interesting with that possibility, but also the fact that lately Ibar's been knocking in a bunch of runs.
Well, Ibanez, the veteran left-hander in the on-deck circle, and you figure he's going to make contact. But Mike Scioscia, at least with the first pitch, maybe not opposed to letting Ibar have the chance to swing at first one.
He swings at that one and rips it foul down the right field line. Now it's 0-2, so certainly changes everything as Donaldson goes back to his normal spot, and so does Castro. One of those tough decisions for a manager. Take by Ibar, who's got 35 RBIs. He's got 15 RBIs in his last 18 games. The only shortstop in the American League with more RBIs is Alexi Ramirez from the White Sox. That one's hit hard to Sogard. Flips, and that's a double play. So the A's get a big double play, 2 outs, and Freese now at third.
Watch Jed Lowry. Watch what he does when he gets the ball. Watch this. You talk about forcing a runner to get down. Jed Lowry goes underneath. Watch a submarine, and Kendrick goes after him. But Jesse Chavez liked the double play. But Jed Lowry, there are times when runners try to take out a middle infielder, and you go underneath, and if they don't get down, I mean, they may take one for the team, but that will be a hard take.
Little flare, Donaldson hustling out, and he can't get it. And that's going to work for the Angels as they take a 2-1 lead. So maybe justice, as the A's got a blue RBI single for them earlier, and the Angels get one here.
Well, the justice part of that, the A's are 0-2 with the shift, because the shift here, and again, normal positioning, look where Lowry's playing. This is a shortstop fly ball, but there's no way that Donaldson playing where he was, trying to take away the bunt, take away maybe even a stolen base attempt, and he dumps it in. So that part of it is justice.
So Ibanez gets his 21st RBI, and the Angels take a 2-1 lead with Hank Conger stepping in. Conger, as we just mentioned, hit by a pitch in the third inning, got him in the right elbow. Runner goes, pitches a ball, throw to second base is in time. So Ibanez thrown out trying to steal, side retired, but a run for the Angels. We're headed to the 5th. It's the Angels 2 and Angels 1.
Together for the second A's Community Fund Bowling Bash presented by Chevron and Lagunitas and supported by Crystal Clear Imaging and Sharp Investments. The bash takes place Saturday, June 21st at Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl. Proceeds will benefit the A's Community Fund.
Fifth inning, A's now trailing 2-1. Oh, it'll be Callaspo, Sogard, and Crisp. So Garrett Richards pitching with a lead, and his first pitch is in the dirt.
Ibanez not surprised that the Angels trying to sneak a runner into scoring position, but a nice throw, nice pick at second by Jed Lowry, and a caught stealing 2-6. The quick release and a little short hop and a quick tag by Jed Lowry, showing that the baseball was still in his glove.
There's a strike, and it's 2-1. So I got a score and a individual performance for you tonight, Ray. You're going to chuckle. Give it to you in a minute.
Should I start laughing now?
Yeah, you know what? You'll be impressed. How's
Okay.
that? Driven to left center, but it hangs up, and Hamilton's got it. It's the bottom of the 9th in Arlington. The Indians 17.
Oh, no.
And the Rangers 7.
Who's pitching for the Rangers?
I do not know. Lonnie Chisenhall from the Indians is 5 for 5 with 9 RBIs.
Wow. That's gone final, huh?
It just went final. 5 for 5 with 9 RBIs.
Wow.
He hit 3 home runs.
Wow. What a night.
It looks like
what a week.
A 3-run homer and a pair of 2-run homers. He also had a double and a single. Freeze grabs it, spins around, and Sogard is retired. 5 for 5 with 9 RBIs.
Wow.
Lonnie Chisenhall, young third baseman.
That'd probably get you on a post-game interview someplace.
Yeah, we'd have him on. We choose that carefully. So tough night for the Texas Rangers. That's just no fun at all.
Well, it's only a 10-run lead, or was a 10-run lead, so maybe that doesn't warrant a position player pitching. Well, maybe Ron Washington didn't have enough position players left because so many on the disabled list.
Yeah, they're dropping. Coco takes outside. Garrett Richards, who had a very long fourth inning, even though he only gave up one hit, he threw a lot of pitches. Trying to have a quick inning here in the fifth. Not quite sure what Coco's doing.
No, Bill Wilkie said something to him.
Rolls that one foul, so the count now 1-1.
Jeff, a hit batter and a walk to lead off back-to-back innings and resulted in 2 runs against him.
Swing and a miss. Good fastball there. That one tailing away from Crisp a little bit. So 1-2.
It's number 84 coming up for Garrett Richards.
And here it is. And it's a fastball high.
And at one time, you wouldn't be concerned about 84 pitches or 85 pitches in the fourth inning because you figure pitchers pitching well and keep going. But that's not today's baseball.
Freeze, more action, and he's got it. And Richards has a 3-up, 3-down inning, so he's retired 5 in a row. And we're headed to the bottom of the fifth. Conger, Calhoun, and Trout to hit. 2-1 Angels. Tweet your photo to CSNCA Fan Photo. Put your name down and your hometown down for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's all brought to you by AT&T. Tonight's fan photo comes from Adam Samil from Elk Grove, and that's Evan. And Evan is looking good. That hat will fit him sooner than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Bunted, and Donaldson's going to pick it up, and he rifles it over the head and into the seats, and
that's too bad.
That was a mistake by Josh Donaldson because he had no chance to throw out Conger. So it's going to be a hit and an error on Donaldson as it bounced up into the still photographer well, and that allows the runner to go to second.
He should have let it try to roll foul, because that's the only possibility. He's not going to throw him out. And it probably was not going to go foul, but at least it keeps him a single. Instead, now he's a second. So the shift again to the right side. There's the bunt and a leadoff bunt.
And Conger ends up at second base, and here's Calhoun. Donaldson inching in at third. Calhoun swinging away, and he drives one. That's hit well. Coco's on the move. He's near the fence, and he makes the catch. Wow. And Conger has to hustle back. So
a bad base running mistake by Conger. Wow, thank you.
I look down. I'm thinking he's tagging up, knowing with Coco's arm, he's going to score if he doesn't catch it.
And again, this explain the rule of thumb. Nobody out, you tag. With one out, you go halfway. Conger got caught up, and he thought the ball was going to drop. If it drops, he scores easily. But as it turns out, he has to go back to second because it was caught. And that's just not very good base running. And we saw earlier when Derek Barton did it with one out. He tagged, or he went tagged. No, he tagged instead of going halfway, and ended up not being able to score. But definitely, you want to tag on a long fly ball with nobody out.
So here's Trout, and Trout takes a breaking ball low. Oh, we've seen a defensive mistake and then a base running mistake.
Well, Conger, I mean, he thought it was going to drop, and you just cannot assume. You have to figure the ball is going to be caught, and once he got as far as he did, he has good enough speed. He could score even on the ball if it does drop.
And so what's your worst case scenario if it does drop and you don't score? You're at third base.
Well, of course, yeah.
Which is where you need to be anyways if you're not going to score.
And you're going to tag, exactly. That's the whole purpose. It's like a sacrifice bunt. It's a long fly ball. You just tag, go to third, and with the infield coming in and Trout hitting, you're figuring you're going to score anyway. And I'm sure he doesn't have to be reminded when he gets in the dugout. He already knows. You just need to try to take advantage of it.
Well, I guess all things that you should kind of put in the equation. Coco plays deep. He's a terrific outfielder. He runs balls down at the wall all the time, and he doesn't have a very good arm.
Absolutely. And as a third base coach, Gary DiSarcina knows, as Mike Gallego knows, you can't yell loud enough.
That's true.
You can't walk out and tell him.
Trout, right center. That's hit well, and that one is gone. They're waving home run, and Trout has a home run. So the first base umpire, Bob Davidson, signaled home run into the first row, and the Angels have a 4-1 lead. So Bob Melvin's going to come out. He may want to check on this. In fact, I think all the umpires are going to get together. Bill Wilkie, the crew chief, and the home plate umpire kind of taking charge here.
Well, he has tremendous power. He went straight away center with a grand slam off Chris Sale's Saturday. And
that's a tough call there. Saw some fans leaning over.
They're going to look at it.
You'd almost have to take a look at this. So this is where, in fairness to the umpires, right, these are difficult calls.
Yeah.
When you have not only is it over the wall, which we've seen quite a bit of now, but you have the fan reaching over. Sort of doubles the difficulty of the call. So let's see. The fan had a glove.
Well, he reached down, and actually the yellow line, if it goes over the yellow line, it's a home run. So it's a question whether the fan interfered. If it is, should be a double anyway for fan interference. And if it hit below the line and carried him back the way it did, that means it didn't go over the fence and would be a double.
Not an easy call.
Yeah. And again, the umpires are watching Diamond Vision, but it's not their call. It's what's happening in New York, but they're seeing the same things, and he reached over it. I don't think that, according with him reaching over, it was not going to go over the fence, according to that shot. It's amazing that back-to-back games the A's have a challenge. Yesterday, John Jasos was challenged for the grand slam. Turned out to be a 2-run double, and tonight A's hopeful that this is going to be overturned. Instead of a home run, it's going to be a double, and figure Conger would be allowed to score, and I guess Trout will get a double. We shall see.
Well, the longer they look, the more difficult of a call it is. So either way, Conger's going to score on this play.
You know, Milwaukee is almost looking at Davidson like he's pointing to second base, which, you know, they also have to figure if it's not a home run, where do they put the base runners? As again was the case yesterday.
Yep, all part of the replay decision on a play like this. Where do you put the base runner if it's not a home run? So this one taking a little longer than some of the other replays. We'll see if we get a little better look here as we roll up our shot.
I'll check the fans, and again, I would think the yellow line designates over as a home run. That's the reason they have the yellow, for the umpire to be able to notice that. Putting him back at second. Yep, fan interference.
Yeah, fan interference.
Yep. Fan interference. So that means Trout goes to second.
Now Kurt Young came out to talk to his pitcher, and Bill Welke said, no, hold on, Kurt, you go back to the dugout. In the meantime, Mike Scioscia's coming out to talk to the umpires, and I didn't think you could argue a reviewable call.
You can't, unless, well, he's probably saying Trout should have had a triple instead of second. That's probably the argument, I would think. But once everything is done, Kurt Young can visit, because there's not been a visit yet by manager pitching coach. So they came up with fan interference, and the fans do reach over. And
well, you know what? That's a good call.
It's a great
fan,
call. Yeah.
The fan had it in his glove momentarily, and he was reaching out over the wall when he had it in his glove.
And he's been taken out right now for interfering.
So Mike Scioscia still arguing with Bob Davidson. He's following him over toward first base.
And, you know, the fans reacted almost been ejected. He'd been ejected. Exactly. That's the reason the fans reacted the way they did, and the reason he followed Bill Welke out.
But you can't argue a review call.
Even the placement of the runners. You're right. You're exactly right.
So that must be the reason Scioscia got thrown out. It's going to be an RBI double.
Right. So, but it's like a ground rule, fan interference, ground rule double. And again, you're right. Looking at the replay and the review, the fans didn't interfere. The fan obviously was ejected himself, taken off the field.
The fan actually got a pretty good glove on it as he reached over, and then it kind of popped out of his glove. So it's 3-1 Angels. Trout, again, an RBI double that scores Conger. So Trout's got a couple of RBI. So initially a home run call, overturned and to a double. The Angels were going to come out okay, whatever the ruling was. This pitch to Pujols is low.
Well, and again, with the whole entire right side of the infield open up with a shift. this is scary because Albert Pujols, again, home run hitter, but he's a smart hitter. He knows an RBI or base hit scores a run. He did it in his first at bat going against the shift, hitting the ball to the right side.
This one tapped fair behind the bag. Donaldson guns it across. Callaspo can't come up with it.
Did not have a very good grip, evidently, and had plenty of time once he caught the ball, but must not have had a grip. And
so
fortunately, Trout did not take off as soon as Donaldson threw.
Do you think he glanced at Trout?
He probably did. He was looking him back. Yeah. And Callaspo with the throw a little bit to his right. Look, and then throw. And, on that part, he knew he had enough time to throw out Pujols because he doesn't run fast. Trout thought about, but then he kept going back, juked it a little bit, and so Josh Donaldson with another error.
So tough inning for Donaldson. He's got 2 errors, and there's runners at first and second for Hamilton. A single and a strikeout. A run in for the Angels. And Hamilton swings and misses at a changeup, and a good one. So some weirdness in this inning, right?
Exactly.
High chopper to Callaspo. He'll glance at second, but instead just get the out at first.
Yeah, Mike Scioscia is about Davidson said, "You're gone."
First time he's been kicked out this year, but so Scioscia is out. Edel, the bench coach, takes over. So this becomes a big at bat with second and third, 2 outs, and a 3-1 Angels lead. You do not want to let the deficit grow.
I caught a break with it being ruled a double instead of a 2-run home run. And really, the bad base running mistake by Conger now is a moot point because he does score thanks to Mike Trout. And, of course, he reached second on a bunt and then an E5. So 2 errors tonight. And Donaldson had been playing much better defensively, as those numbers show. 1 error in 20 games.
Freeze with a strikeout, and then in the 4th he led off with a walk, and he ended up scoring on Banya's single. So pitch number 75 coming up for Jesse Chavez. Trout and Pujols are the runners. And a big breaking ball, and Freeze strikes out. So when it's all said and done, the Angels get 1. So we're headed to the 6th inning. Angels 3, Athletics 1. Pitching probables brought to you by Chevron. Care for your car. Drew Pomeranz will make his 7th start for the A's. 5-3, very good ERA of 2.20. And Hector Santiago will now pitch for the Angels. As we mentioned it earlier, the original starter was Tyler Skaggs, but he has a little hamstring problem, and he's been placed on the disabled list. So Santiago will be called up from the minor leagues, and he will start tomorrow night. So we'll have it for you right here on Comcast Sportsnet California, Game 2 of this 3-game series.
Now, Mike Scioscia said before he was ejected that.
What did he say? Did he talk to you before he got ejected?
That Skaggs had the hamstring injury going to push him back, and figure with the miss a start or two, they just a couple of days might as well just DL him, which that's what they can do for a pitcher, because every 5th day and 15-day disabled list, you might as well. So that is the reason. It would be Santiago tomorrow.
So 1 out, 87 pitches now for Richards.
Well, thanks to David Freese, the A's are not looking at a blowout in this game. Freese, 2nd and 3rd twice. He struck out twice with that 2nd and 3rd. And fortunately that has occurred. The A's just down by 2 in the 6th inning.
Donaldson swings at the first pitch, and that's out number 2. Donaldson 0 for 3.
If they had any thought of getting Richards out, then swinging early is not the way to do it. 3 pitches in this inning, and
they had a quick 5th inning as well.
Yes, they did. 10 pitches that inning and 3 only in this inning. So instead of going maybe 6, he's going to go at least 7 and see what happens.
So Moss will hit. 7 in a row retired by Richards. Not close. The White Sox beat the Tigers tonight 6-5 in Chicago. Jose Abreu hit his 18th home run. So the White Sox are now 3.5 games behind the Tigers in the AL Central.
And that's after being swept here in Anaheim over the weekend.
So the Tigers' struggles continue. Get high in the air down the left field line, and it's going to be Hamilton. Caught it! Now he caught it right up against the side wall, and it really wasn't that far from home run distance. But Hamilton raced over, and he made a very nice play in the corner. So a 3-up, 3-down inning, and this is how it ended.
An early lead thanks to a Stephen Vogt soft hit into center field or the left field that drove in Yoenis Cespedes. Nice defensive play by Coco Crisp in center field, robbing Mike Trout of extra bases. That would score a run. And then Ibanez with a shift, expecting to pull. He did not. Lofty one in shallow left field. And Trout ruled initially a home run, but after further review, fan interference. An RBI double for Trout, but he was at second instead of a home run or a triple.
A couple of RBIs tonight for Trout.
Strong young man, isn't he?
Yep. So Kendrick, Ibar, and Ibanez here in the bottom of the 6th inning. We mentioned that Tiger score and also told you that the Indians beat the Rangers by that big score of 17-7. So the Indians are now just 2 games behind the Tigers in that tightening AL Central. The Royals did not play tonight. They actually got postponed in New York due to some rain. She was in Kansas City.
Yankees started their 10-day trip to finish in Oakland this weekend.
So a rain out in Kansas City. And a 2-2 fastball, and Kendrick strikes out. So 5 strikeouts. In the last 6 starts for Jesse Chavez, and the last 6 are the yellow, and the first 6 are the green. So they're hitting the fastball a little bit better, and they're hitting the cutter better. And I think that cutter was such a great pitch for him early on, Ray. So listen, his first time in a rotation, and your first 6 starts, so there's plenty of scouting reports on you.
Right,
so I think hitters have made an adjustment.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a little bit extra pumped up tonight because he is pitching in front of, I'm sure, family and friends, and he lives near enough to the area to stay in the hotel. But really, in this game tonight, hit batter in the 3rd, scores. Leadoff walk in the 4th, scores. A bunt base hit with a shift and an E5, and he scored. And that's the 3 runs, really. So 2 earned runs of the 3.
Yeah, he has not pitched poorly tonight. Ibar pops it foul, so the count 1-2. That's good to see. An A's fan making a nice play amongst Angels fans. That's what we like to see. What they say, Ray, good things happen to good people.
That's great. So JR think good things are going to happen, huh?
Yeah. So 1-2 to Ibar. And he rips one past Sogard, who leaped for it, could not quite get it. So hit number 7 for the Angels.
Eric Sogard to his left kind of jumped and didn't jump. As he went to his left, looked like he had a chance to get the hanging curveball that was hit by Ibar. But watch as it goes and just about a 2-inch hang time because he just could not get up quickly enough and stay up. Hard hit ball by Ibar. Unfortunately, the last one was hit, was right to Sogard. That started a 4-6-3 double play.
Ibar, a base stealing threat. He only has 4 this year, and he's been caught 4 times, but usually better than that.
Well, Lowry's behind the bag with a shift, and he would be the one covering.
Ibanez rolls it foul.
You know, at 41, I don't think Raul Ibanez, although he tries to pull, I don't know that sometimes he can do it with a good fastball. And he got a bloop singles last at bat. And that was a curveball. And of course, when you're using the shift and pulling the shift, you have to pitch accordingly. And there are 3 to the right side. And Donaldson tried to take away the bunt by now moving back at short.
Ibanez lays off that pitch, so the count 1-1.
Essentially just hoping as Cook warms up, and that is if Ibanez gets a pitch that he rolls over with the top hand and hits the ball to one of the infielders on the right side.
Shoots that one foul and sprays it to the left side.
There were certain pitchers, and this was at a time when never even thought about a shift. That pitchers, I think Gaylord Perry stands to mind, and he would actually look around and he would move infield.
Sure.
Because he would pitch a certain way. And he said, no, move over, move left, or move right. And you don't see that now. You'll see more of the instructions from the dugout.
That one, base hit, and Ibar's going to try. Moss's throw is there, the tag, and they got him. Beautiful throw by Moss, and Ibar got a little bit too aggressive.
Well, and give Josh Donaldson all the credit, because once the base hit went to right field, this, I think, look where Donaldson is. And he started to sprint in a foot race to third base. He had to get position. So when the great throw was made by Moss, he was able to get there, make the quick tag, and he did all of that by starting at around second base by the time the ball was hit by Ibanez. And fortunately, Ibanez just at first, so heads up by Josh Donaldson, realizing that somebody had to get to third. Moss, his second assist in this on this road trip, had one in Baltimore, a big one in the ninth inning. That was over the weekend. But a very strong, accurate throw, charges it perfectly, gets it on the hop, and a four-seamer right over the top to Josh Donaldson on the bat.
So that's the second out. Hunter fouls it straight back. Well, he throws like an outfielder.
He throws like you're supposed to. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Sometimes you put an infielder out there and they have a little bit of more of a short arm throw.
Short arm and sinker, and of course the thing about the little crow hop, when you charge the ball and you catch it, by the time you take that step, all the while you're maneuvering the ball in your hand to make sure you get a good four-seam grip to throw the ball straight.
So Jesse Chavez is going to give up a couple of hits, but no runs, thanks to a great throw by Moss in right field. So we're on to the seventh from Anaheim. Angels 3, the A's 1.
By Xfinity, home of the most live sports. And by Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability and resale value. Toyota, let's go places.
So 3-1, the Angels lead the A's. And check out that tag again, Ray, by Donaldson at third.
Well, to get back to third base, the ball just getting past Ibar, scoops it, and a quick tag. As Ibar tried to go around the tag, but as there it indicates that James Hoa able to see clearly that he was tagged. So again, what could have been a blowout, a game in which the Angels could have a much bigger lead than just the 2 runs. At least the A's are keeping it close.
Cespedes, Lowry, and Vogt. with action in the Angels bullpen, as that was pitch number 91 for Richards. He's retired 8 in a row. Jepson is the man in the bullpen. Lined into the dugout, I believe. Did that shoot over the dugout? No, I think it went into the dugout.
Well, the important thing is not to hit manager Mike Scioscia, who was ejected, and he's down in the tunnel someplace still managing. Dino Ubel, the bench coach, of course, taking over the reins, but I'm sure Mike Scioscia is close. Normally, in this stadium, you can go down the walkway and still be visible.
A half swing by Cespedes. Cespedes, a double and a run scored in the second and a single in the fourth. So he's got a couple of hits tonight. Cespedes was 4 for 14 in that series in Baltimore. And that one is launched down the left field line, but foul. So Cespedes will dig back in, down in the count 0-2. The last hit for the A's was Cespedes' single in the fourth.
That's the curveball down and away.
And it spins high.
Yeah, a lot of times Conger gives a sign, then where he puts the catcher's mitt kind of indicates the pitch that he's calling. It's not often you want a fastball down in the dirt, a curveball to try to get the chase. Slider.
And that was a good one. That may have been one of the better pitches that Richards has thrown all night. Location, late break.
Well, they should throw that instead of the slider. That was more of a, instead of the curveball, that was more of a slider. Been throwing curves. The one that he hung, and one almost hit out by Cespedes.
So 1 out here in the 7th inning, and that'll bring up Lowry. Lowry swings over top a breaking ball. Lowry, a pop out to short and a line drive to left. So he is in an 0 for 15 slump. Tapped foul. The Blue Jays won again. They beat the Minnesota Twins 5-4. So the first place Blue Jays picked up their 39th win. 5-4 over the Twins. He was in the Twins lineup tonight, Ray.
Was he already?
Kendrys Morales.
Didn't take long.
Who, of course, signed that contract just a couple of days ago. He batted 6th and was the designated hitter for the Twins tonight. He went 1 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. On the ground to Kendrick, who scoops it up. And that's the second out. So that'll bring up Stephen Vogt. So Kendrys Morales, I guess you could say, kind of surprised everybody by signing with the Minnesota Twins. There was a lot of rumors, and that's just what they are, rumors, but the Rangers maybe, the Mariners maybe, but
well, regardless who signed him, they wouldn't have to give up a draft choice because it was after the draft.
After the draft. Which makes you believe that he may have had something lined up a little bit ago and said, well, let's wait till right after the draft is over. Who knows?
But he was offered the qualifying offer of 14 plus, accepted 12, prorated to 7-4.
Yeah.
And of course they was out of options, couldn't send him down, so they had to pretty much wait till he was ready to play, which evidently he was quickly tonight.
Yep, they stuck him in there.
Yep.
Oh.
That
was a strike.
That was a strike. Check this strikeout. Wow. That was a short hop by Hank Conger. Strike one.
And now it's 1-2. 103 pitches for Richards. His season high is 112. So he's pitched well tonight. One-two to Vogt. Curve is high. Vogt has the RBI single. That was in the second inning, and then he lined out to center field in the fourth.
Well, if he hadn't hit the atom ball, he'd had another RBI, but it went right to and right at Mike Trout.
Kendrick dives and it skips over his glove, and Vogt's going to have a 2-out single. Like it bounced right over Kendrick's outstretched glove.
Not a good at bat, considering that curveball. He should have bounced it. Might have had a better chance to get a strike. This one left up a little bit, and Vogt able to hammer it to right field. Maybe Scott Spezio, Alberto Callaspo can hit a Scott Spezio type home run down the right field line, short porch. Callaspo has hit 3 on the season, but it's been a while.
So Otero and Cook both loosening. Cook's been throwing for a while, so he's ready to go. Otero just started. Fastball lays off and pitches inside. Sogard would be next if Callaspo can keep this inning going. Callaspo bounces it right to Ibar, who will step on the bag side, retired. So Callaspo 0 for 3, a runner left, and we have reached the 7th inning stretch with the Angels leading 3-1. It's the bottom of the 7th inning from the Big A. Bob Melvin said it's time to go to the bullpen, and he has done that as Ryan Cook is in the game when it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog expert. So Cook comes in. Jesse Chavez goes 6 innings, gives up 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts for Jesse Chavez. So A's bullpen will try to keep it right where it's at. 92 pitches tonight for Jesse Chavez, so he will not get his 6th win.
They go back to his last start, which thanks to Josh Donaldson off home run off Ramirez, Jesse Chavez was able to pick up the win going 6 innings. But in that game, it was the first game in which he allowed a walk to score. And tonight, it's the 2nd game, and it was the leadoff walk to Freeze in the 4th inning. He came around to score. So as we have seen yesterday, 11 walks the A's received, 7 scored for Jesse Chavez. He's not walked a lot of batters, but when he has, they have not scored except in his last start and tonight.
So top of the order for the Angels, Calhoun, Trout, and Pujols against Cook. First pitch is a fastball low. Calhoun has got 1 hit tonight. He singled back in the 3rd inning. Hitting in the leadoff spot. A's will throw Pomeranz tomorrow, the left-hander, so I would imagine we'll see Colin Cowgill in that lineup somewhere tomorrow.
You're exactly right. That's kind of the platoon Mike Scioscia is using with his outfielders.
That one hit down the left field line. Cespedes on the move, and Cespedes had it. It popped out of his glove, and Calhoun's going to be at second.
That's too bad, Coach. What a great jump he got on the ball and able to get to it, slicing away. But out of nowhere, Cespedes came to get to it. And watch the acceleration. And maybe just got in the heel of the glove and essentially overran the ball. It's going to hit in the hard part of the glove, the heel, and could not control it, corral it into the webbing.
So it's a double. And here's Trout. Nobody out. And Trout watches a slider. And it's 1-0. Trout a line out in the 1st, a sac fly in the 3rd, an RBI double in the 5th. Trout now with 45 RBIs on the year. And that pitch is inside, and now it's 2-0. Trout has a terrific opposite field stroke. And he hits that way with power. We saw that his last at bat.
Well, he's a multi-tool player, maybe 5++, just because such a nice guy has all the tools that you would like to see in a hitter.
I like that. So 5 tools, and if you're a nice guy, you're a 6-tool player.
Yeah.
And everything we know about Mike Trout, he's a fine young man.
Mike Scioscia said he's the most humble player he's ever seen.
That's nice to hear. After what we saw this weekend, it is very
well,
nice.
that's exactly right. Just the polar opposite. Yeah. And, you know, I think Mike Scioscia said it best, too. This kid's going to be the face of the franchise and maybe the American League for 15 years.
No question.
And which is even better news because Derek Jeter is retiring after this season, and that's the face of the American League that is going to hang him up after this year. But Mike Trout, just a phenomenal player, and say he's going to be in an Angels uniform and continue to perform the way he has.
Well, he was brought up in 2012 after about a month in the minor leagues that season. And that's what he has done since being brought up. And he takes a strike on 3-1, so a full count to Trout.
Was a runner-up to MVP the last 2 years to Miguel Cabrera. Good fastball running down and in. He maybe thought it was off the plate, but that's a pretty good pitch that he likes to hit and drive to the opposite field.
Three-two pitch is a slider way outside, and it's a walk. Stephen Vogt did a good job just able to catch that one.
And it might have been a play to backhand, but he decided to turn the glove up. Watch this moving, and even to the point that he had to go down and fell to the backside, but keeps the runner at second. Trout will go to first, and they'll set up a double play. And at least having Pujols hit, if you can get a ground ball, is a candidate for a double play.
So more action now in the A's bullpen. Jim Johnson starts to throw. Cook came in and had that tough outing yesterday when he had to come in for Abad after Abad was thrown out. He was allowed a double and a walk here in the 7th. So Abad joins Johnson. First pitch to Pujols, missed outside.
Yeah, Ryan Cook, even though he was put in a tough situation yesterday, pretty much apologized to Bob Melvin for not being able to throw strikes and having the inning go as long as it did, and maybe to the point that he was not able to finish the game.
Fastball inside, 2-0, and it's a little all over the place, and seeing a little bit of that right now. Two-0 to Pujols. And that's a strike at the knees. Pujols not sold on the call by Bill Welke. There's a shot to right field, but Moss getting under it. He's got it, and tag that's stopping is Calhoun as he bluffed going to third.
That's what a good throw already will do for anything in the future. You know, one time when teams actually took infield and outfield practice, that you could actually impress the team so much they wouldn't run based on how you threw during infield practice, whether it be a catcher stealing bases or attempted steals or the outfielders or the throws, but turn it over, probably to Abad, the lefty.
So Cook faces 3 hitters, and he's going to come out of the game. So we'll be back.
Cocoa Crisp Garden Gnome, presented by Grant Thornton LLP. Get your tickets now for the A's Red Sox game Sunday, June 22nd, when 20,000 fans will go home with a Cocoa Gnome. For information and tickets, visit athletics.com/tickets today.
So what does Abad throw? Well, Hamilton's finding that out right now.
Got a good fastball, low to mid-90s, a very sharp breaking curveball and a changeup, which you'll probably not see, so be prepared for the curveball.
So Abad 1-2 with a 1.78 ERA. So this would be a good challenge for him. Calhoun at second, Trout at first, Hamilton hitter with Freeze in the on-deck hitter. So it's not out of the question, Ray, that this could be a one-hitter appearance for Abad.
That's a great call because Otero, I assume, is still warming up, the right-hander, and then Kendrick to follow him.
Slider is inside as Hamilton watches it go by. Single in the first, strikeout in the third. Ground out.
Johnson, my apologies. So they did announce Johnson was up, not Otero. I think Otero, if the ball game had been tied, might have come in the 7th inning, but the A's were not able to tie it.
Good pitch there. Last year, Hamilton swings at that. Yeah, he seemed like he swung at just about everything last year. Chases a good slider, and Bod just dropped out.
He must have heard you.
Yeah.
He said, I'm supposed to swing at that because Cap said swing, so he does. And that's not a good pitch to swing at.
Lays off that one. So another breaking ball.
Might as well keep throwing it because if throwing fastball, he's gonna swing. Just a question whether it's good enough fastball for him to hit.
To pitch, and he threw him a nasty slider again, and all sliders, and Abad gets Hamilton, and Abad's night is done.
And you can go back and look at the scouting report and say, you're right, he's got a nasty slider, he's going to throw it, and he's going to throw all of them. He did. 5 pitches, and gets a strikeout. Nice job by Abad.
So now to be Johnson facing Freeze when we come back. Authentic fans know where to find the best deal in Bay Area baseball. Comcast Sportsnet California's Authentic Fan Fridays at the Coliseum. This Friday, get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, an authentic A's fan jersey, a cheer card, and a $6 food and drink voucher, all for one great price. The best deal in Bay Area baseball is Comcast Sportsnet's Authentic Fan Friday. Log on to cnsncalifornia.com for details. Jim Johnson comes in, one job, and that's to get Freeze. And the first pitch is in for a strike. 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Jim Johnson had a good series in Anaheim back in mid-April. He was so good, we had him on a post-game guest, which was great for him, great for us, and he was pitching well. And he's still very capable of doing a very good job.
So it's an 0-2 count to Freeze, who has struck out twice and walked. Walked and scored in the 4th. Sinking fastball a bit inside. Astros are leading the Diamondbacks 4-3. That game in the top of the ninth in Arizona. So interleague matchup for the Astros, who are playing good baseball as of late. Strike three called outside corner, nicely placed by Johnson. So the A's are able to keep the Angels off the board in the seventh inning. Eighth inning coming up, 3-1 Anaheim Angels.
Boston Red Sox in a 4-game series from Thursday, June 19th through Sunday, June 22nd. Don't wait. Get great seats now at athletics.com/tickets.
So the Red Sox coming in as part of that big homestand. So lots of good baseball coming up at the Coliseum with summer upon us. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. The new pitcher for the Angels is the Sidewinder Joe Smith.
Fifth appearance for Joe Smith against the Athletics this season. Of course, signed a multi-year contract to be the setup man, and a very healthy contract and linked to be the setup man for Ernesto Frieri. For Garrett Richards, 107 pitches that he threw. No walks in 4 strikeouts, and of course the walks for his demise in his last start against the A's.
That's John McDonald who takes over at third base. So McDonald in, Freeze out, and Smith, the new pitcher, facing Sogard, Crisp, and Jaso. Good pitch there, and it's 0-2. Well, Richards with a good start. So 2 good starts for him after that punishment that the A's gave him at the Coliseum. Strike 3 called. 3 pitches, and Sogard turns around and heads back to the dugout.
I think there's sometimes you start a game, you play a game, you better swing the bat, because the strike zone that seems to be moving around in different height, different location, and Albert Pujols complained about a low strike, and Eric Sogard thought the 0-2 was a little bit low, but it was called strike 3.
So 1 out, and now to the top of the order in Coco Crisp. First pitch is in for a strike. The Orioles shut out the Red Sox tonight in Baltimore 4-0. Bud Norris went 8 innings, got the win, and Tommy Hunter pitched the 9th. So the Orioles, after getting beat up by the A's yesterday, losing 11-1, they get a shutout tonight at home. So
So the Red Sox fall back to 7 games under the 500 mark. And they're now 10 games behind the Blue Jays in the East. Baltimore remains 5.5 back with the win. 1-2 now to Coco Crisp, who is 0 for 3. He's only have 4 hits.
And do not have a home run, which a streak of 16 consecutive games with at least one home run is on the line. And John Jaso is in the game. He's not able to come off the bench to pitch it to hit a home run. Something he has done a couple of years now, last year and this year. There is Jaso, who will be hitting following Coco Crisp.
Coco waiting on the 2-2 pitch from Smith. And that one runs just a bit off the plate.
Well, it had to be off the plate because height-wise, according to the pitch that was called on Sogard, it was high enough, at least at the knees, according to Milwaukee, to be a strike. Two-seam fastball.
Coco fouls it back. 3-2 will remain the count. He's got 2 hits in the second inning, got their run in that inning, and then they had a single in the 4th inning and a single in the 7th inning. Coco on the ground. Ibar throws, and they get Coco Crisp for out number 2.
Joe Smith has had 4 appearances against the A's, 2 blown saves, and in those 2 blown saves, the A's have collected 6 hits and 7 runs off of this sinker ball right-hander. Of course, the big game at Oakland last Saturday, a week ago Saturday, in which gave up the 2-run triple to Cespedes. Game in which the A's scored 6 runs in the 7th inning, 4 in the 8th, and 1, but not tonight. Only 1 run on the board tonight for the Athletics.
Jaso takes first pitch strike. He chats with Milwaukee. That one's low.
That is low. Amazing.
One now the count. Mentioned Frieri pitched in all 3 games against the White Sox. I don't know if he's available tonight or not.
We'll probably see in the bottom of the 8th inning if Joe Smith gets out of this inning without giving up anything.
It's Frieri.
A 2-strike fastball away from Joe Smith, and this was after he intentionally walked Lowry, and misplayed by Calhoun, and Cespedes with a burst of speed drove in a couple of runs. Of course, then he hit the 3-run home run off Grube in the 9th inning, but remember the questionable intentional walk to Jed Lowry to get to Donaldson and hit the slow ground ball, and then Cespedes with the 2-run triple.
Good swing there by Jaso. Fouls it off. Signage is to our left. So another 1-2 pitch coming, and Jaso tries to check his swing. Pitch called the strike, side retired. So a good inning for Joe Smith. Strikes out a pair of A's. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Still 3-1 Angels.
Dealers 1-4-2 for the A's, 3-9-0 for the Angels. Jesse Chavez, a couple of earned runs allowed in 6 innings, and Garrett Richards, 1 earned run in 7 innings. A couple of RBIs for Mike Trout. And it is the bottom of the 8th inning. So Jim Johnson is back out there. Johnson got the final out of the 7th inning. Got out of a jam.
And did you hear who's listening in the Angels bullpen?
So we heard a couple different people say they didn't think he'd be available tonight, but he is.
Well, if he's going to make the prediction, I guess he feels he has to pitch.
Well, you know what? Then I'll give him some credit for that.
There is the man warming up, and that is Ernesto Frieri. Ernie, as they call him. I guess you have to be on a first-name basis to call him Ernie, but
probably not a bad guy. Well, he's just confident in his team.
Julio likes him.
Who?
Julio.
You mean the bellman from our hotel? Oh, Ray, you're a beauty.
Well, you got to have friends some places, right?
So you know for sure that you got 2 friends on this trip, Julio and me. That is a fair ball. Donaldson fires it across past Callaspo, and I think it went right into the dugout.
Wow, that's unlucky. Not only, how rare is it for a ball to sneak in either to the camera well, I guess, or into the dugout. This ball skips past Callaspo and right in the dugout. Donaldson had to reach for it, knew it was going to be a tough play, and short hopped. And I guess if he wanted to throw it in the ground, dirt, then throw it way out in front. Callaspo couldn't come up with it, so air all the way, huh?
Yes, indeed. So hard to believe it. Josh Donaldson with a 3-air night, and I mean that's definitely an error, but that's not an easy play because he really has to. I mean, he's got to let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, he's throwing that absolutely as hard as he can.
And really took the bad bounce, or at least the difficult bounce into foul territory and reached for it. But I guess maybe the official scorers watched the play highlight that he made yesterday, diving into foul territory, watch the ball take off and reach for it, and then it skips past him and right through the wicket into the dugout. And they have the high rails, and there's only a couple of areas in which the ball can go into the dugout where it would be an extra base, and Donaldson's been unlucky enough for it to happen twice tonight.
Bunted, and Johnson cannot pick it up cleanly the first time, and when he grabbed for it the second time, he got it cleanly, but it was too late. Ibar runs extremely well. So Ibar is one of the best bunters in baseball. I mean, you just watch his form. He's got perfect form, and he just laid it out there.
And I don't know that maybe Johnson was thinking about taking it himself, but didn't know that Donaldson was there. Donaldson was yelling, and well, to reach for it with the bare hand is very difficult. That's why I was surprised a couple of innings ago, back in the 4th, when with first and second, nobody out, he didn't bunt. Hit it into a 4-6-3 double play.
Well, he's such a good bunter that not only is he going to get the sacrifice down, but he's going to make it a difficult play for the defense.
And that's a base hit.
Yep. So here's Ibanez, first and third, nobody out, infield in, and the pitch is inside. Couple of hits tonight for Raul Ibanez. One of them knocked in a run. It was a bloop single in the 4th. Conger in the on-deck circle. And Ibanez hits it to Callaspo, who spins, and he looked at third, he looked at second, and then decided to step on first and get that out. So he covered all the possibilities. It would have been a tough play to get Ibar, I think, at second base.
Yeah, and the best move was what he did, to look twice and step on the bag. Because Ibar was looking back, but also Sogard was in the line of the throw if he had thrown to second. And for the runner at third and Kendrick, he was not going unless the ball went through.
So second and third now, 1 out for Conger.
Well, the Angels have had base runners every inning. The only 3 up, 3 down inning was the second. So they put a lot of pressure on the A's pitchers, but they've been able to. A's have been able to wiggle out of quite a few jams tonight, and they're in another one here in the bottom of the 8th.
And this time, David Freese is not coming up. Strikeout victim 3 times tonight. A couple of times with 2 runners on base in scoring position.
Conger swings and misses, and the count is 1-1. Conger's been hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd, singled and scored in the 5th, and then popped out in the 6th. So, and Conger hitting in the 9th spot has scored a couple of runs tonight. That's Colin Cowgill. Former Athletic. Conger, very aggressive, was able to hold up that time, and now he's got a 3-1 count with Cole Calhoun in the on-deck circle.
No swing started, but that kind of went farther than I thought initially, but it was appealed to 3rd and said no.
The 3-1 pitch is hit off Conger and it rolls foul. So now full count.
3-1 pitch. He said, I'm going to swing at anything.
Yes, he was going to rip at that.
Because there are 2 runners in scoring position. The infield's in. And while a walk would be something that might consider, but he's going to swing.
Johnson, the look and the pitch, and that's a base hit to right field. 1 run's going to score. Ibar will stop at 3rd, so Conger gets a big hit. He lines a single to right field to score Kendrick, and it's 4-1.
Well, aggressive again. This pitch a little bit higher and still went down and got it. And lefties, as we always say, like the low fastball, and he crushed it.
So Bob Melvin's coming out. And he's going to have a chat with Jim Johnson. 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
I remember a couple of innings ago, Conger attempted to steal. And you know, when this game, and the A's can get out of this inning, allowing just the 4 runs for the night, they're going to look back at the score sheet and they're not going to like it as far as those runs that have scored. Yeah. Because it's just uncharacteristic of the Athletics to have this kind of a game.
Ibar tagging Moss under it, and Ibar's going to go about a 1/3 of the way and go back. Conger did tag up and go to 2nd.
Well, Moss had to make the throw, and not surprised Conger did what he did, but that's a big bluff down the line that had he continued to run, Brandon Moss has already thrown 1 out at 3rd, and this one all the way on the line to the plate. And that's a bluff, but strong throw.
So here's Trout with first base open and Pujols in the on-deck circle. Trout is 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly, a double, and a walk. And he hits a high fly ball right field toward the line. Moss is got it in fair territory, side retired. So a run on a couple of hits and an error, and we're headed to the 9th. A's got work to do. They trail 4-1.
game, and Garrett Richards, who the A's got him out before he even completed one inning a week ago Friday at the Coliseum. But tonight, even though he gave up a run early, he did not give up anything else. Just one run on a blue pit to left field, and that was it. So turns it over to the man who said he guaranteed wins in this series, and Ernesto Frieri will try to close this game out with a 3-run lead, 4-1 in this first game.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So indeed it is Frieri, who is 10 for 12 in save opportunities. And there's the quote. We're going to beat them. Get ready to write that. I hate to say this, but they've had a little bit of extra luck. If you pay attention to every play, it's stupid how the games go their way. So that's what Frieri said.
So he's going to look tonight and say the luck went the Angels' way. They have a hit batter scored, a walk that scored, an E5 that scored, and an E5 that scored.
And he's facing Donaldson to lead things off, and Donaldson swings and misses. So 0-1 to Donaldson. And a breaking ball in for a strike. So Frieri on Friday night threw 21 pitches. On Saturday, he threw 11 pitches. Yesterday, he threw 19 pitches. So he's out there for the 4th consecutive day. How about that? You do not see that very often. So 1-2 to Donaldson, who was grounded out twice and hit a fly ball to left field. Frieri kicks, and the pitch is a fastball that runs inside. So the count even now at 2-2. Moss to follow, and then Cespedes. So the heart of the order against Frieri. And a fastball, strike 3 called, and Donaldson barking at Bill Welke. See how close that pitch was to being a strike. I don't think the A's are real happy with Mr. Welke's strike zone. It's been a little wide.
It's been a little bit all over. And even if you go back to first inning, in which it was 3-0 to Coco Crisp, and kind of a gift strike, 3-0. And that kind of set the tone, really, for the night, because the moving strike zone.
So 1 out, and here's Moss. In the first pitch to Moss, in for a strike. So this is the first time since Frieri's been in the big leagues that he's pitched 4 days in a row. He's ahead of Moss, 0-2. Moss is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Well, the A's do not have a hit from the top 4 hitters in their lineup. A 2 pitch and a good fastball at 95 miles an hour. Moss strikes out for the 3rd time, and that's 2 outs here in the top of the 9th inning, and it's up to Cespedes.
I think a little bit extra on the fastball from Frieri, and outside corner got it.
So Cespedes, couple of hits. He's got 2 of the A's 4 hits tonight. Frieri is ready. He kicks and fires, and the first pitch is an off-speed pitch that stays high. A's post-game live coming up after the ball game. And remember, we'll be back with you for Game 2 of the series tomorrow night. Our coverage starts at 6:30 with A's pregame live. So that's all part of our coverage for this big pregame series here in Anaheim. Pitch is right in there for a strike, 94 miles an hour. So Richards went 7. Joe Smith came in and pitched a perfect 8th inning. Erie trying to pitch a perfect 9th inning. Popped up foul. So 2-2. So that'll get the crowd to its feet. Over 36,000 tonight for Game 1 of this series. Drew Pomeranz will get the baseball tomorrow. Two pitch, and that one a slider in the dirt. So full count to Cespedes. If he were to get aboard, Lowry would hit. So here it comes, payoff pitch to Cespedes. And he got him swinging. So Frieri strikes out the side in the top of the 9th inning. So an impressive performance by him, and the Angels take Game 1 of this 3-game series by a final score of 4-1. And the A's lead in the AL West is now 3.5 games over the Angels, 4.5 games over the Seattle Mariners. So 2 hours and 55 minutes was time of game, and the final score, the Angels 4 and the Athletics 1. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's post-game live with Brody Brazil and Pip Roberts starts right now.